I believe there's a correlation between your closet being organized and being organized internally. The first time that this paid off for me was in 2001. I was at Fort Benning, Georgia in basic training, and at 2 in the morning we had a wall locker inspection, and we're standing at the end of our bunks, by the kill zone, towing the line, tired as crap. And the drill sergeant's taking like 30 minutes going through everybody's wall lockers. And you know how like they make the comments like joking, it's like making everybody laugh, but you're like, oh, it's not me getting in trouble. And I think one guy, Jakubchik, he had this canteen full of dip that his second canteen he would spit in. I think the drill sergeant found that. Or no, another dude drank out of that one time. He was so mad. So anyway, drill sergeant goes to leave. He finished his wall locker inspections, and he's like, everybody failed. Miller's the only one that passed. But of course, he had to leave a stabbing comment. He's like, you've had so much time being on sick call, that's why you passed. But in all actuality, I had rolled my ankles like 4 or 5 times. So I was going for legit reasons. And I didn't miss any mandatory training, which is a good thing. So that paid off big time, having my wall locker organized. Because everybody had like not taken care of their wall lockers during training. They just let that go. But for some reason, like I found the wherewithal to continue doing that. So in my career, about 16 years later, we're training. And I start losing the ability to feel my legs. And then I start losing the ability to use my legs. Platoon sergeant sends me to sick call. I was a squad leader at the time. By the end of the day, every like hour or so, they would send me to a higher level of care because they didn't know what was going on with me. So it went from like sick call, and then like the field TMC, and then like battalion TMC, and then they were like, hospital. So they took me to the hospital and they wheeled me in. And I had this rare disease called transverse myelitis. I was medically discharged. About 4 years later, after I was medically retired, I think maybe 4 years later, roughly, in 2020, the ex-wife, she left with the kids. And so things were in chaos. And during this time, I would have my earphones in, mowing the lawn, listening to Jordan Peterson or Jocko Willink. Like I listened to them non-stop. They were just solid points in my life. And then there was also this other group, Operation Angel Wing. And they were kind of guiding me through this period of time. It's a dude from Special Forces. And Zeke Vanderpool runs it. And so he was giving me like these really good things. Like, here's some good books to read. Here are some good practices to do. Here's whiteboard work. So I was like pulling from anywhere, like solid stuff. And because of where I worked for a few years in my last part of the military, like special operations, like I really got to see them, and I trusted those dudes and their guidance. So like listening to Jocko Willink was great. Having this dude Zeke giving me these pointers was freaking awesome. And then I was listening to this one lecture by Jordan Peterson, and he's talking about cleaning your room before you try to change the world. And how these people get on these high horses. They're like, oh, I'm going to go get global peace, or I'm going to go do blah, blah, blah for the environment, or whatever it is. And that's not to insult anybody trying to help the environment. But he was pointing out the importance of taking care of your own personal area before you try to clean up for other people. I think it's kind of hypocritical. And that means like there's areas of your life that are unsquared away while you're trying to square away a much bigger thing. It just doesn't make sense. So I got to thinking about that. Like, how can I apply that to me? Because in his other lectures, I was able to apply some really deep things into my personal life. And that helped me adjust my view of my childhood. I was like, oh, that was a cool key that kind of unlocked a little more freedom for me. And in his lecture about organizing your room before trying to square the world away, I decided to keep my closet neat and tidy. because I had this theory that if your closet is disorganized, that's an area that only you see. Not many people in the world come into your house and see your closet. And so you keep that however you want to keep it. Nobody sees it, so you don't care. So we have areas in our internal world that I thought of. It's like, oh, we have areas in our internal world that are just chaotic, that nobody sees, so we don't care what it looks like. We don't care if it's chaos or not. And so we just keep it jumbled up. So I thought, man, I'm going to keep my closet neat and tidy through this chaos period. And so that chaos period meant having to sell the house. I had to stay in a hotel for a week or two, maybe a little longer, because I was trying to close on another house. Going through a divorce is just brutal. And so move into the house, and it was built in like 1953, and it was basically, I had to renovate it. I'm still working on it to this day. It has been a labor of love. No joke. But it was like, as I went through it, which is crazy, as I went through it, I grew so much and started doing all this internal work. Because all my stuff I'm doing on the house, on the inside, is for me and my kids, not the rest of the world. But as I progressed working on the inside of the house, like I grew. Because I was doing work that nobody else was going to do for me. It's like, ooh, the internal work. Cool. It's almost like the universe was like, here is this thing that's going to correlate with the work that you need to do, with the work that you'll do here. And one day you'll draw the correlation. I said that word twice. But in this, I kept my closet neat and orderly the entire time. And living in a house you're remodeling is chaos. And I'd started a business. I started college, trying to keep up, go and get the kids. Like I was driving 2 hours a day, and sometimes like 6 hours a week, sometimes 10 hours a week. And it was just me. It was just chaos for me. I was like, what do I got to rebuild? And so in doing that, like I kept this part of myself that no one would see in order. And I started analyzing myself more and looking at like, okay, what parts of myself has somebody opened up that would pop out that I don't want them to see? Because we've all had parts of us that were programmed in our character reel that are just chaotic, that we just keep bundled away. It's like somebody goes to open your closet that's crashed out, I guess. You'd run in and be like, oh, no, so you don't want to go in here. You don't want to see that, and then use that same term. It's like, if we crash out, that's the part we don't want people to see. And then we're like, no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to act that way. I'm sorry I did that. So this thing popped in my mind. When we go through a rough childhood and we grow up, and if we step into that identity of a victim, which I did for a long time, and I just wanted somebody to listen, and I wanted to have some justice for my childhood. I wanted someone to admit what they did wrong. In reality, that would have never happened. So it just solidified my victim mentality. But when we go through the rough childhood, the truth is those parents imprinted on us. And now we're hiding the parts that wounded us, and we're complaining about them. And we're like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They did this, they did that, which is true. But I had to turn the lens on me. Be like, oh, what programs were put into me that I got to change now? That I got to make neat and tidy. And I need to organize for the fact that I don't want to be like them. So I got to thinking, oh, the more I focus on them, the outside world, the more I'm hiding what they put in me, or I'm hiding from other people seeing. But the more I focus on them, or the more I focus on me, the less I focus on them, and the more I get organized internally in the way I keep it organized. And that's not for the world. That's just for me. Like your mind on the inside, there's these different tools and techniques that you can use to keep it organized. Organize your memory, organize the way your brain thinks, catastrophizing, organizing how you plan, all kinds of stuff, your inner dialogue. you can organize that, and that's just for you. Because your voice is what the world hears. The way you dress is what the world hears. But your internal world is just for your consciousness and your soul and your awareness to be sitting in there and be like, oh, it's neat and tidy in here. So in case you are in situations where those parts of your programming would pop out that were programmed into when you were little, you have now organized them. So it's like, oh, cool. Check my closet. Not a big deal. Nothing to find here. It's like the towels are folded. The shoes are put away. The everything's neat and tidy. And that's maybe 1 in a billion chance that somebody will look in there. But when they do, you want to see that neat and tidy, because the longer you keep it messy and the longer you shove stuff in there, when you do open it up, stuff pours out because you just try to cram stuff here, cram stuff there, and you can't find stuff, and you're digging around. You have to go through this, and you make more of a mess. And then you just shove it back in and close it up, and it gets worse and worse. It's the same with our internal world. Like accessing memories. You'll stumble upon other memories, and it gets crazy and messy. And you have to try to shove them all away and cope with it and hide that stuff. But when you go in and do that internal work, things really truly change, and you can find internal peace. It's pretty awesome. And I have a Skool community, which is pretty awesome. And it's really small, but I teach this inner work to organize the inner work for peace and harmony and clarity and all that good stuff. Hey, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment below. I would really appreciate that. And if there's anything you'd want me to talk about, I'm not old as the hills. I'm 43. But I've been through childhood trauma, war, divorce, diseases, houses, family drama, all kinds of stuff. And I'm still here. And I'm learning how to navigate life better and put myself together better. And I have a pretty good, solid understanding of it. And if you have any questions, hey, I got this going on or that going on, I may be able to give you some pointers, because there's things that you can do and focus on that get you through a difficult situation. And that's why I do this channel, is to help other people navigate the life, because life will kick you in the nuts. Roadhouse Spiritual Hard.